question, Representative Fargen, is what are your thoughts regarding education funding?
Thank you for your question. Education funding, obviously, we haven't had much out of here when it comes to the education funding. Last year, I proposed in the House Education Committee a 1.2% increase after it was stripped. And I brought it back. It got killed in the House, pretty much party line vote, Republican against it, Democrat for it. I did it again on the House floor, got opposed again, killed it again. I'm all for education. We could have found that money out there. Actually, we had the money out there. We had $10 million that we gave away to Trans-Canada Pipeline coming through western South Dakota, that we could have stripped that money. That money was not supposed to go to them, and we could have put that towards education. I think all we needed was $4 million of that. The secondary thing, we could have put it towards bridges and roads, or we also could have put it towards state employees, which haven't got an increase for the past 2 years either. So there's money out there. We have to start digging. We have to start cutting big government, and we have to give it back to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Fargen. Next up will be Representative Gerald Lange, and if you'd like, I can repeat the question. What are your thoughts regarding education funding?
Excellent question. Back in about 1993 or so, I introduced a bill to tax the 1099, that's stocks, bonds, CDs, and other properties, intangibles. It had been introduced by 2 Republicans back in about '89 when we had the choice, do we go to an income tax or do we go to video lottery? And you know the choice, unfortunately. Those 2 Republicans were Keith Paisley and Larry Gabriel. And so when I introduced that, Keith Paisley was chair of the taxation committee, and he was squirming a bit. He said, I really caught hell for introducing that bill, because we'd rather get the money from gamblers, losers, than we would from winners. And it's a sad commentary on South Dakota's ethics.
Thank you, Representative Lange. Next up is Jason Lee Bjroklund.
As far as our state's education spending, right now we're in a recession, and I believe we need to hold the line on education spending. We need to look at tightening our belt across the board. Education is one of those areas where we need to watch our spending. You'll hear a lot of people say we need to spend a lot more on education. I don't believe that to be true. You can look at places like Washington, D.C. You can look at Detroit, Michigan. There's a perfect example. They've got the highest spending per student in the nation, and they also have the highest dropout rate and the highest failure rate. So I believe we need to make the best use of the resources we have, and just like you're having to do in your homes, we have to tighten our belt on government spending. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Next up is Patricia Stricherz.
I ran for District 8 House in 2008, and I think it's sad that 2 years later we are still arguing about how much money, or if we should, put into education. And what happened in those 2 years is Governor Rounds initiated a pilot program to allow schools to have laptops to give to their students. Well, this pilot program has cost the state $2.9 million a year to keep going. And I think that is the first place that we need to look at. It is to cut our failed programs within our educational system and to put the money back where it belongs in general education.